Hello everyone and welcome back. So now we are going to look at part 2 of our video about the simple past tense. In this video, we will only focus on regular verbs. Video 3 will focus on irregular verbs. If you don't know what I am talking about, no stress. We'll learn it here together. So simple past tense. Okay, so simple past tense are for completed, finished actions in the past. Now, with regular verbs, you have the verb and the ed ending. Now, I have another video to explain this because in English, we have 3 pronunciation sounds for this ed. Let me give you a quick example. If I have a verb, let's say my verb is move. If I already have this E, then all I do is add this last part, the D. Now the pronunciation for this sound, moved. Sometimes I hear my students say moved. Do not separate. Moved, moved. Now you hear moved, you hear the D sound here. Let me give you another example, the T sound and the ID. Let's say finish. The past tense is when you finish something. So finish. And then what do I need? My ed. So finished. In this case, this final ed sound will sound very similar to a T. Finished. Are you finished with your test? Oh, he finished with his test. Okay. Final one, ID. Let's say a different color. Let's say want. How many syllables are in want? Want, one. Now, if I add this ed sound, only for this group will I add one more syllable. So want, and now it's wanted. Now it's 2 parts. So this gives you a little quick idea that the ed pronunciation sound has 3 parts. This will be separate. In this video and today's class, we are only going to be focusing on the rules for regular verbs, for the ed ending. Let's take a look. One very important idea to remember, unlike simple present, present continuous, and some of the future tenses, is that the one reason why people love the simple past tense, one easy reason, is because it doesn't matter who is in front of the verb. If I say, for example, love, and I have my D ending, this verb is the same for everyone. I could have, for example, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So I could say, oh, I loved chocolate when I was a child. You loved the movie. He loved her. She loved flowers. It loved the tree. We loved this class. They loved the car. So in the regular and all past tense verbs, this is the amazing part. This verb will be the same for everyone. Isn't that great? A little bit easier, but there are a lot of rules we must study. So let me erase this and let's talk about some of these rules. So let's take a look at verbs with a Y ending. Let's say, for example, try and carry. Over here, let's say play. And let's say enjoy. Again, think about this in the simple present tense. We have a choice of an S or an ES ending, IES ending. So think about this in the simple present tense. You have a choice of an S or an IES ending. Now in the past tense, the idea is a little bit similar. Here, if I have a consonant in front of my Y, a consonant in front of my Y, another consonant in front of my Y, then it doesn't matter. I, you, he, she, it, we, they. This verb, you're going to need to change this Y, erase this Y to IED. Same thing here, IED. So my students recently had an exam, and my students, they tried their best. They tried their best on the exam. Last week, I carried my baby cousin. I carried my baby cousin. IED ending. Over here, what is different? We have this, a vowel and a vowel. Our 5 vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. Now over here, not S like the simple present tense, but we're going to use the ED, ED. So if you have a vowel and a Y, you're going to use the ED ending. If I have a consonant and Y, you're going to use the IED ending. Understand? So very, very similar. This is why I always stress to my students, if you understand the simple present tense, you can understand everything. All the verbs, they work together. They build on each other. So rule number 1, if my verb has an E, like love, like, move, then I just have the D ending. Rule number 2, if my verb has a Y ending, I need to see, okay, what is in front of the Y? Is it a consonant? If it's a consonant and Y, erase the Y and change it to IED. If I have a vowel and a Y, a vowel and a Y, vowel and a Y, then I just have ED. Okay, let's look at rule number 3. Let me see if you remember. Remember in the present continuous tense, when we had consonant, vowel, consonant, what did you remember? Okay, if I have consonant, vowel, consonant for my final 3 letters, consonant, vowel, consonant, and consonant, vowel, consonant. Consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant. Let's just look at 1-syllable words. In this case, we must double, right? So maybe the police officer stopped me. In California, people love to go to the beach to tan. So the woman tanned at the beach. Robbed. The thief robbed the bank. So, okay, Caroline, so consonant, vowel, consonant, this is for 1-syllable words. Now, my beginning learners. Of course, there are other words that have 2 or more syllables. Right now, because we are just learning these rules, let's just look at 1-syllable words for now. Okay, later we will practice 2 or more. Now, do you remember in present continuous, you never double. You never double when you have these words. For example, if a verb ends in an X, if a verb ends in a W, or a verb ends in a Y, you never double, right? So if I have, for example, fix, I just have the ED. Do not double. If you want to know why, it's because inside this X, there are 2 sounds. It's an X and an S. X. You hear that? It's 2 sounds in one. Here, W. So if I say, for example, bow, this is to bow, then I just have my ED. Over here, if I say play, right? You know, consonant, vowel, consonant. But if it's a Y, we just have an ED. That is if I have my vowel also, right? We need to be careful with this one. So rule number 3, consonant, vowel, consonant, double. But do not double if you have an X, a W, and a Y. There are some small differences between American English and British English. Let me give you an example. If I say the word cancel or travel, in the United States, even though you see consonant, vowel, consonant, we do not double this. Travel, we do not double this. Our rules for pronunciation and grammar are a little different. and I can explain this more to you later. But you may wonder, well, Caroline, sometimes I see in British English there's another L. That is true. For us in American English, we do not double this. And I can explain more in a future video. But for right now, let me introduce to you these rules. Now, what happens if I want to change these verbs into the negative? Let's see. So in the present tense, we have two negative options. Do not, don't, or does not, doesn't. In the simple past, one thing is a little easier, and that is you only have one negative. So did not or didn't. Now, same idea as the present tense. This verb is the original verb. You cannot have the ed ending. So let's say the man played guitar. Let me give you 3 sentence examples. A mother worry. Okay, look at this consonant in front. So you need to erase this, change it to IED. Worried about her son. And one more. Caroline relax, X, be careful, so no double, relaxed last weekend. Okay, look at our verbs here. My verb played, worried, and relaxed. So I'm going to use the negative in front. So my rule is I use didn't. So okay, put didn't in front. Didn't in front of my verb. Didn't. Now, is this good? No, there's one more thing that you must do. Over here, this is the original verb. So that means you can have no ed. None of this, no ed. So the man didn't play the guitar yesterday. Or the mother didn't worry. Oh, IED. So IED is a Y. The mother didn't worry about her son. Caroline didn't relax last weekend because she was cooking and cleaning and working. So Caroline didn't relax last weekend. So you see all of these, they are the original verb. You do not change them. You do not have the ed ending. Are you okay? This is a very fast review of the rules for simple past tense, part 2. In part 3, we are going to focus on irregular verbs. These rules do not follow these ed endings. They are completely different. That is why I'm making a separate video for those, because there are a lot of irregular verbs in the past tense in English. It is very difficult, so I want us to have more time. Now there's one more thing I need to teach you about the regular ed verbs with questions. Let's look. With questions, I want to give you a little comparison. Let's look at an example of the simple present tense and compare it with the past tense. Maybe this will help you. So let's say simple present, and over here, simple past. So this is what we are learning now, and this is what we learned before, right? Okay, so simple present for questions. Let's say yes or no questions. Okay, so simple present, let's use a different verb. I'm going to say cook. So we say, okay, do or does plus who plus the verb, right? For a yes or no question. Very, very similar in the past. But do we use do or does in the past tense? No, we use did. So did is the only thing that you change that's different. Did, and then the person, and then my verb, the original verb. So very, very similar. This is why when you pronounce verbs in the simple present or past tense, you must be very careful because they're very, very close. The only thing that's different here is did or do or does. So I could say, oh, did you cook dinner? Do you cook dinner for your family? Or does your son cook dinner? Does your son cook? These are all yes or no questions, so they're going to go up. Do you cook dinner? Does your son cook dinner? I know that this is the present because of this, do or does. Now on this side, if I say did, same question. Did you cook dinner? Did your son cook? One good part that I like about the past tense is this is the same. It doesn't matter who, you or your son. I can use did for everyone. Did you cook dinner? Did your son cook dinner? Right? Did your son cook? Did you work? Did you walk? Did you exercise? Right? Did, do, and does. Be very careful with this pronunciation. This is the same reason why I tell you if you say, for example, yeah, he cooks for us. And here, let's say, yeah, he cooked for us. Now, Americans talk very quickly. You need to be very careful with this ed ending and this s ending. That is the only thing that's different between these two. He cooks dinner for us. He cooks for us. Or he cooked for us. Cooks, cooked. It's a very, very small difference. But you want to communicate very clearly. If you make a small mistake and you use the wrong pronunciation for that final syllable, you may give the wrong idea to your listener or to the person you are having the conversation with. So we must be very careful. Now, if I want to change this to a more information question, what word do I need here? Right? My WH word. Who, what, where, when, why, how, whose, right? All of these. Oops. Oh, that is messy. I'm sorry. Let me erase this. Okay, so here I'm gonna have my WH word as well, right? WH word, WH word. My question is the same. Why did your son cook? Now more information, it's gonna go down. When did your son cook? My son never cooks, right? When did your son cook? Why did your son cook? How did your son cook, right? Same idea here. So WH word in front, and we're gonna include it here. Now, more information questions will go down. This is a quick review of what we are studying in my class. But for my YouTube listeners and my students, if this is the first time that you are learning about these rules, please ask me and I can give you more examples. For everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you soon. Goodbye, everyone.